This is the Honor Magic5 Pro, a new high-end camera phone that brings all the bells and whistles. Honor continues to bring us high-quality devices in the spirit of Huawei, but with the benefit of full Google support. So what does the Magic5 Pro bring to the table? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our full review. Just like its predecessor, the Honor Magic5 Pro is a flagship camera phone with not only premium hardware, but full support for Google services, unlike Huawei phones. Compared to the previous model though, you get improved camera specs, a brighter display, a larger battery, and a new chipset. The Magic5 Pro is made of glass, with a textured matte finish. The back panel curves into a glossy aluminum frame. But most interesting is the round camera bump, which is also a bit glossy. It's huge, and actually makes the phone a bit top-heavy. While this phone is made of glass, there's also a version with an eco-leather back, but that's for China only. The front side of the phone is curved as well. And just like last year, you have a wide cutout for the Selfie and the Face ID system. You also get full IP68 rated ingress protection, as you'd expect from a top flagship. Something else which you can't see is a new antenna setup for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. The special architecture should reduce interference and latency. The display of the phone is a curved 6.81-inch LTPO OLED with a 1312 by 2848 resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. The resolution is higher than your typical smartphone, coming out to a pixel density of 460 ppi. Content is sharp and contrasty, and you have support for 10-bit color and HDR10+. The color accuracy is excellent too. The Magic5 Pro's display is also super bright. We measured a maximum of 760 nits with the manual brightness slider, and this is able to boost up to nearly 1230 nits in auto mode if you need it outdoors. As an LTPO panel, this display's refresh rate should be extra dynamic based on content. You get a smooth 120Hz when swiping around, which dials down to as low as 1 Hz when idling to save energy. However, because there's no built-in refresh rate tool on this UI, we couldn't confirm anything below 60 Hz. For further energy savings, you could also dial down the resolution. There's also a smart option, which can do this on the fly for you based on content. For audio, you get a pair of stereo speakers. They have very good loudness, and the sound quality is very good too, with great vocals, enough bass, and well-presented highs. To wake up and unlock the phone, you can use the responsive under-display fingerprint reader. Or you can opt to use Face Unlock, which is extra secure thanks to the 3D TOF sensor next to the selfie cam. The Magic5 Pro comes with 256 or 512 gigs of storage on board, and that's not expandable through microSD. And the interface of the phone is Honor's MagicOS 7.1 on top of Android 13. It's pretty similar to what you'd find on recent Honor or Huawei phones, from the looks to the arrangement within the notification and quick settings menu. One major difference from Huawei though is that here you get full support for Google apps and services. There are a bunch of customization options here to tweak the looks of the interface. And you can either keep all of your apps on the home screen or use an app drawer. Large folders are another function which can save you a bit of space and clutter. Honor provides a bunch of proprietary apps, including Gallery, Notes, System Manager, and Weather. And since the Magic5 Pro has an IR blaster, you can use it as a remote to control appliances with. Powering all of these features is Qualcomm's current flagship chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It provides improved CPU and GPU performance compared to the previous generation, the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. And there's support for new memory tech, like UFS 4.0 and LPDDR5X RAM. As you'd expect, performance is smooth and snappy. The Magic5 Pro is amongst the best out there right now. However, when it comes to thermal management, we observed heavy thermal throttling during our prolonged stress test. There is also a performance battery mode which tries to maintain a higher level, but introduces sharp dips into the mix. Either way, there's a lot more to be desired here. The battery capacity of the Magic5 Pro is 5100 mAh, much larger than the 4600 in last year's model. Battery life is considerably better too, with the Magic5 Pro earning an endurance rating of 115 hours in our tests. There's support for 66-watt fast charging, and the charger comes in the box. With it, we were able to charge from 0 to 75% in half an hour. There's support for fast wireless charging too. We've made it to the cameras, which include a 50-megapixel main cam, a 50-megapixel ultrawide cam with autofocus, and a 50-megapixel 3.5x periscope telephoto. You also get a DTOF laser focusing system, a flicker sensor, and a multi-spectrum color sensor. The biggest upgrade from last year is the main cam. It has a new sensor with larger pixels, a wider aperture, and OIS this time around. The main cam takes 12 megapixel images by default, thanks to pixel binning and a slight crop. These daylight photos are some of the best you can get from a smartphone these days. There's an impressive level of detail with balanced processing, and even fine details are well rendered. The colors are true to life, contrast is high, and the dynamic range is wide, but not over the top. Portrait mode photos are taken with the main cam with a 2x zoom applied by default. They're solid, with excellent subject rendition and a great separation. And portraits taken at 1x are even better, providing more detail than the zoomed ones. In low-light conditions, the Magic5 Pro will apply automatic night mode processing to its photos. There's also a dedicated night mode you can enable, but it provides the same results. These low-light photos from the main cam are excellent. They're well exposed, with a ton of resolved detail and little noise. Colors are saturated, there's plenty of contrast, and the dynamic range is impressive. Videos can be taken with all of the cameras in up to 4K resolution. 4K videos from the main cam are great, with plenty of detail and sharpness, high contrast, true-to-life colors, and balanced dynamic range. There is electronic stabilization available for the main, ultrawide, and selfie cameras, and it's always on to smooth things out. In low light, 4K videos from the main cam are average in quality. The colors look good, but the dynamic range is narrow, and the noise reduction smears a lot of the details. There is a night video mode available for the main cam too. It's limited to 1080p resolution, but it improves the exposure and dynamic range. You also get plenty of detail, low noise, and excellent colors. Now let's talk about the telephoto camera with its 3.5x zoom. Its photos are very good, sharp with plenty of detail, and again balanced processing. The colors are accurate, and the dynamic range is wide. There's also a 10x zoom toggle on the viewfinder, and these are achieved through a digital crop and upscale. They're a bit less detailed, but is still enough, with a pleasant rendition. The telephoto cam does a good job at night, taking photos with a nice exposure, impressive dynamic range, and low noise. The color rendition is great. The shots aren't the most detailed, but they're sharp enough. Video from the telephoto comes out at 4x zoom, and the quality is alright. You get good colors, contrast, and dynamic range, but the detail level and sharpness are just average. Nighttime zoomed videos from the telephoto cam are soft and dark, and a bit noisy too, but they're still usable. Now we have the ultrawide cam. Its photos are great. They're especially wide, with a lot of detail, and again, a balanced rendition. The colors are true to life, the contrast is good, and the dynamic range is wide too. Since the ultrawide has autofocus, you can use it to take macro close-ups. These are pleasant, with good detail and sharpness in the center, and wide dynamic range. The low-light photos from the ultrawide are excellent for this sort of camera. They're surprisingly well exposed, with low noise, and you get good-looking colors and more than enough detail. 4K videos from the ultrawide are great. There's enough detail, low noise, and accurate colors. There's plenty of contrast, and the dynamic range is decent. The low-light ultrawide videos are usable. They're noisy but have some detail, good colors, and okay dynamic range. Finally, we have selfies from the 12 megapixel front-facing cam. They're outstanding, with a lot of sharp detail which isn't overprocessed. There's low noise, accurate colors, plenty of contrast, and above average dynamic range. So that's the Honor Magic5 Pro. It brings pretty much everything you need in a flagship: a great display, premium hardware, fast charging, and solid, versatile cameras. The most notable shortcomings are that you don't get 8K video recording, and the thermal management of the chipset isn't the best around. But if these don't bother you, then the Honor Magic5 Pro is worth a full recommendation. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives to the Honor Magic5 Pro, one option could be the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, and another could be the Xiaomi 13 Pro. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.